They told him to give up. They said his dog would never walk again. But they didn't know what Max meant to him. This wasn't just a pet. This was his best friend, his shadow, his reason to wake up in the morning. And one day, that shadow stopped moving. Max was hit. His back legs, gone. No movement, no feeling, just silence. The vet shook his head. Paralyzed, no hope. Most people would have broken. Most people would have walked away. But not him. Because when the world gave Max a wheelchair, he gave Max something else. A reason to fight. And what happened next? No one believed it until they saw it with their own eyes. Before everything changed, Max was just a happy dog. He loved to run. He loved to chase sticks. He loved Josh more than anything. Josh had found Max at a shelter 3 years ago. Max was skinny, quiet, almost scared of people. But when Josh knelt down, Max came right to him, tail wagging, eyes full of hope. That was it. One look, and they were family. Josh brought Max home that same day. From the start, they were inseparable. Every morning, Max waited by the door, leash in his mouth. Rain or shine, they walked the same path around the neighborhood. Max had a favorite spot in the park, right under an old oak tree. They'd sit there for hours, Josh talking, Max listening. He wasn't just a dog. He was company when no one else was around. He was comfort on the hard days. And Josh had a lot of hard days. There were nights when Josh felt like giving up. But then Max would curl up next to him, warm, quiet, loyal. Like he was saying, "I'm here. I've got you." Max didn't care about money, stress, or problems. He just loved. Simple, honest love. At night, Max would jump on the bed and rest his head on Josh's chest. Every night, without fail. His breathing would calm Josh down, like a heartbeat saying, "Everything's okay." They weren't just man and dog. They were best friends, soulmates even. Josh would throw a ball. Max would bring it back, every time, tail wagging like it was the greatest moment ever. And maybe it was, because those little moments meant everything. They were healing. They were life. Max had seen Josh at his worst and never left his side. So when Max needed someone, Josh promised he'd be there, no matter what. They had no idea what was coming. But their bond? That was already unbreakable. And soon, it would be tested like never before. It started like any other day. Josh and Max went for their usual morning walk. Same path, same park, same routine. Max was full of energy, tail wagging, tongue out. He chased a squirrel like he always did. But this time, he ran too far. Josh called out. Max turned just in time to see the car. Screeching tires, a loud thud, then silence. Max let out a sharp, painful yelp. Josh dropped everything and ran. His heart was pounding. Max lay in the street, not moving. "Please, no," Josh whispered, dropping to his knees. Max was alive, but something was wrong. His back legs weren't moving, not even a twitch. Josh scooped him up and raced to the vet. Red lights, blurry eyes, shaking hands. Every second felt like an hour. The vet ran tests. They took scans. Josh waited, pacing the room. Finally, the door opened. The vet's face said it all. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "There's spinal damage. He's paralyzed from the waist down." No sugarcoating, no easy fix, just heartbreak. Josh felt like the world stopped turning. He stared at Max through the glass. The dog who once ran through fields now couldn't even stand. "Will he walk again?" Josh asked. The vet hesitated. "I don't think so," she said. "You might want to consider letting him go." Letting him go? Josh couldn't believe it. Max was still alive, still breathing, still looking at him with those same loving eyes. Everyone else said it was over, that Max would never walk again. that this was the end. But Josh didn't believe that. He couldn't. Because when Max looked up at him, weak and shaking, there was still something in his eyes. A spark, a fight. And in that moment, Josh made a promise. He wouldn't give up. Not now. Not ever. The world said Max was finished. But Josh knew their story wasn't over. It was just beginning. Josh didn't sleep much after the accident. He couldn't. Max needed him more than ever. While Max lay quietly on the floor, Josh sat by his side, one hand on his fur, one hand on his phone, searching, reading, learning. He read everything he could: spinal injuries in dogs, nerve damage, recovery chances. He even searched, can a paralyzed dog ever walk again? Most answers said no, but Josh kept scrolling. He found videos of other dogs learning to walk again, some with help, some with therapy, some using little doggy wheelchairs. Josh didn't waste a second. He ordered one. A week later, it arrived. He gently lifted Max into the harness. The wheels clicked in. The straps were tight. Max stood, sort of. His front legs held him up. The wheels replaced his back ones. Josh smiled. Max looked confused. "Come on, buddy," Josh said softly. Max tried to move. One step, then another. Then he tipped over. Josh rushed in, heart sinking. Max looked tired, sad, embarrassed, like he knew something had changed. That night, Josh cried. Not in front of Max, but later, alone. He was scared. Scared it might not work. Scared he might fail. Friends told him to stop. "Just let Max rest," they said. "He's done enough." But Josh didn't believe that. He refused to give up. He stayed up late, night after night, watching physical therapy videos, learning how to stretch Max's legs, how to massage his spine, how to build tiny ramps and practice tracks in the yard. Every morning, he'd lift Max up, gently stretch his legs, whisper, "You've got this, buddy." Max didn't always respond. Some days, he just lay there, tired, quiet, still. But Josh kept going, because hope doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And Josh heard it, in every blink, every breath, every tail twitch. Max wasn't ready to quit, and neither was Josh. It was slow. It was hard. But they had taken the first step, even if it didn't look like a step at all. At first, nothing changed. Days passed, then weeks. Max still couldn't move his back legs, but Josh stayed patient. He kept the routine. Every morning, he stretched Max's legs. Every afternoon, they practiced in the wheelchair. Every night, Josh whispered, "You're doing great." Then, one morning, it happened. A twitch, just a tiny one. His back paw moved. Josh froze. Was it real? He waited, watched. It twitched again. Josh smiled for the first time in days. It was small, but to him it felt huge. That twitch gave him hope, and that hope lit a fire. He started water therapy. He built a small pool in the yard. He held Max up while his legs floated. Sometimes they kicked, sometimes they didn't. Josh didn't care. He celebrated every little thing. A tail wag, victory, a stretch, miracle. Even a bark felt like a win. But it wasn't all good days. Some were really hard. Max would get tired, frustrated. He'd fall over in the wheelchair, refuse to move, just lay there, looking defeated. There were moments when he cried, not loud, but soft, sad whimpers, the kind that broke Josh's heart. Josh had doubts. What if Max never walked again? What if this was all for nothing? But he never showed it. He stayed strong for Max. Even when people said, "It's not worth it." Even when they rolled their eyes. Even when they laughed behind his back. Josh didn't listen. Because he saw something they didn't. He saw fight. He saw heart. He saw a dog who wanted to walk. So, he kept going. more therapy, more training, more nights researching and more mornings practicing. And Max kept trying too. Slow, wobbly, messy, but trying. Because pain was real, but so was progress. And every inch forward was one step closer to a miracle. Then, one morning, something changed. Max was on the floor like always. Josh started the usual stretches, but today was different. Max lifted his head. He looked at Josh with those big, hopeful eyes. "Come on, buddy," Josh said softly. Max let out a quiet whimper. Then, something amazing happened. Max pushed with his front legs. His back legs stayed still, but he tried. He wobbled. His body shook. But he was standing. Just for a second. But it was enough. Josh stared, wide-eyed. His heart raced. He wanted to run, to scream, to laugh. But he couldn't. He was frozen. His chest was tight. Tears started to fall. For the first time in months, he believed, Max had just taken the first step, not with his legs, but with his heart. Josh knelt down. He hugged Max tightly. "Good boy," he whispered, choking on his words. Max panted, looking at Josh with a tired but proud face. That moment, everything changed. Max wasn't giving up, and neither was Josh. From that day on, the game had shifted. Max had tasted a little bit of hope. He wanted more. Josh didn't waste a second. Every day, they worked harder. Max fought with everything he had. The small victories felt bigger. His legs were still weak, but they moved. Sometimes just a little, but every movement meant something. Josh felt the spark that said, "We can do this." Max was fighting now too, and Josh was with him every step. They were a team, and nothing was going to stop them. Max was getting stronger, day by day, little by little. At first, he needed help. Josh held his harness, guided him with every step. Max wobbled, his legs shook, but he kept moving, even when it felt impossible. Then, something incredible happened. One morning, Josh let go. He stood back, watching Max. Max stood still for a second. Then, with a deep breath, he took a step. Just one. But it was real. Josh's heart skipped a beat. Max had done it. He had taken a step on his own. Josh crouched down, his voice breaking. "Good boy, Max. Good boy." Max didn't stop there. Every day, he walked a little farther. The living room, the hallway, the backyard. Step by step, he was finding his strength. It wasn't easy. Some days, Max fell. But Josh was always there to help him up. They were in this together. And with every fall, Max got back up. The people who doubted them started to notice. Friends, family, neighbors. They couldn't believe their eyes. Max, the dog they thought would never walk again, was moving. Slowly, but surely. Then, it happened. The vet who had said, "He'll never walk again," walked into the room. She didn't know what to expect. But when she saw Max standing, walking, she froze. Her eyes widened. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. For a moment, she just stared, speechless. Josh smiled. "I told you he could do it," he said softly. The vet finally spoke, but it wasn't the words she had expected to say. "I never thought." She shook her head, amazed. "He's defied the odds." Josh looked at Max, the dog who had never given up. And now, neither had he. Max had walked again, and nothing could stop them. It wasn't just walking anymore, it was running. Max was running again, his legs strong and steady, tail wagging, ears flapping in the wind. Josh tossed a ball into the yard. Max sprinted after it, faster than ever. He leaped into the air, caught the ball, and landed with a bark of joy. Josh's heart swelled. Max had come so far. But it wasn't just about the running. It was the freedom, the joy. the pure happiness that filled Max's every step. And then, one day, Josh did something he hadn't done in months. He grabbed Max's leash and headed for the park. The same park. The place where it all began. The place where Max had run, full of life. Before everything changed. They walked together, side by side. Max was stronger now. His legs moved confidently. The path they once took was now familiar again. And this time, it wasn't just about getting by. It was about reclaiming everything they'd lost. Josh smiled, looking down at Max, the dog who had never given up. The dog who had shown him the power of hope, determination, and love. They reached the spot where Max had once chased squirrels and played fetch. Josh let Max off the leash. And just like before, Max ran. He ran with all his might, his body strong, his spirit even stronger. Josh's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of joy. They weren't just walking again, they were living, together, the same path. But this time, it was different. This time, it was a victory. It wasn't just recovery, it was rebirth. Max wasn't just the dog who had been paralyzed. He was the dog who had come back stronger than ever. Josh knew in that moment that nothing could ever break their bond, no matter what life threw their way. Together, they had conquered the impossible. Max's story isn't just about a dog. It's about never giving up. On the ones you love. On yourself. Life can be tough. Things don't always go the way we want. Sometimes, the world says you can't. It tells you to quit, to give up, to accept defeat. But love doesn't listen to that. Love says try. Love says keep going. Love says you're stronger than you think. Josh didn't stop when people told him it was hopeless. He didn't stop when everyone said Max would never walk again. Because love never gives up. And that love is what carried them through the toughest days. Max didn't give up either. Even when his legs wouldn't work. Even when he fell, again and again. He kept fighting. Because he wanted to walk. He wanted to run. He wanted to be the dog he once was. And he did it. This story is a reminder to all of us. No matter how hard things get, no matter how many times you fall, you can always rise again. With love, with hope, with determination. Max showed us that sometimes the hardest battles bring the greatest rewards. And when you believe in someone, anything is possible. So, remember, when the world tells you to stop, keep going. When it tells you that you can't, keep fighting. Because love says try. And that's all it takes to create miracles. And now, Max runs free, stronger than ever, with the love and strength that brought him back. And nothing will ever take that away. Dogs truly are the most loyal companions in our lives. What did you think of this heartwarming story? Let us know in the comments. Like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for daily emotional dog stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Click here to watch the next story of love, loyalty, and the incredible bond we share with our paw-some friends.